everyone, welcome to PianalytiX, your go-to place for Power BI and data analytics tutorials, and I am back with yet another important tutorial on Power BI. Today we are going to learn the top most important visuals in Power BI. Now visualizations form the backbone of this tool, but sometimes students struggle with them because they don't know what kind of visualizations are best suited for what kind of data, which is exactly what we'll go over in this tutorial today. So let's get right into it. Let's see the dataset first, which I will link in the description box below. Now this is very large dataset. There are about 4,000 plus rows and a lot of numerical and qualitative columns. So yeah, that's it. There's not much to see in the dataset. I will move on to the very first visual that I want you to know about, which is the bar chart or the stacked column chart as it is named in Power BI. Now, stacked column charts are important to see a particular value across different categories. What I mean by that is, let's say I select a clustered column chart here and I want to see sales. So I'll put sales on the y-axis and subcategories on the x-axis. Now we can easily compare sales across different categories. So it is used for comparing the value over different categories. Now we can see that bookcases sold the most number of units and then labels sold the least number of units. So we can see that bookcases are the most well-performing product of the store, then followed by chairs and appliances, copiers, etc. So a lot of insights can be extracted from this one visual alone. I will put this here. Now, the second visual, which I think is again very important in Power BI, would be the line chart. Now, line charts are important looking at trends over a period of time. So, line charts are more often than not used for continuous data, but in the case of data analysts, they mostly use it to chart dates. So basically trends over a period of time. Now what I mean by that, let's say I want total orders. So count of order ID is nothing but distinct order ID. So the total number of orders that they received within a year, and order date, which I will put on the x-axis. This looks very scary. So let's get rid of month and day. And yes, now we have orders by year and quarter. We can see that the number of orders increased in the first 2 quarters of 2017, then started dropping in the last 2 quarters. Then there was an increase in 2018 again, then again a drop in 2018. So this is how you can interpret a line graph. Now the third visual, which I think again is very important, would be pie chart. Now pie charts are important for looking at compositions. What I mean by compositions are basically parts of a whole. So let's say we want to look at quantity by the region. Now it's very clear from this is how you can interpret it is basically say 55.11% of the total quantity sold were sold in the central region, and then 22.17% products were sold in the south region out of the total sales. This is how you can interpret a pie chart. And pie chart and donut chart are basically the same thing, only the shape is a little different, but the interpretation and the concept is the same. So you can use either one of the two. I prefer the pie chart personally. And then the fourth visual again, which is very important in Power BI, would be the stacked column chart. Now stacked column chart, think of it like combining the normal column chart with the pie chart. So suppose we want to, I put customer name on the x-axis and the total quantity that they purchased on the y-axis. So this gives us nothing right now, but if I put subcategory in the legend here, now I can clearly see from their total purchase which category accounted for what amount of their total purchase is what I can see in this stacked column chart here. Now for this person, say Jose Gambino, 20% of their total purchase was in the art subcategory, then 15% was for binders, 20% was for copiers, and so on. So this is how you can interpret a stacked column chart. Again, this is a very, very important visual in Power BI. Now, the fifth very important visual I would say is the scatter chart. Now, scatter charts can be a little complex to start with. I will make space for this. Yeah. So, scatter charts can be a little complex, but basically they are used to see the correlation between two variables according to a particular category. So say we put two numerical variables on the x and the y axis. Let's put profit and cost. And then we want to see how these two compare or what the relationship is between these two variables according to a particular subcategory, say country. So I will put country in the values here, and we can clearly see the how cost and profit compare by country. So for France, yeah, France, the profit and cost was the highest. A lot can be interpreted from this visual as well. And then the sixth very, very important visual in Power BI, I will just make space for it, would be nothing but the table. Okay, yeah, I've resetted my dashboard. So yeah, a table is again a very important, and I think the very first visual that we start with when we start learning about things like these. So tables show any kind of relationship, any kind of composition, any kind of trend, whatever you want to see. So let's say I want to put customer name and I want to see which country and city that particular customer comes from. I can do that with the help of a table. So some Aaron Bootman comes from France, from the city of Lille. Then there is another Aaron Bootman who comes from France again, but from the city of Marseille now. So this is how you can read tables. This is pretty self-explanatory. And then the very last visual that is important in specifically in Power BI would be the card visual. Now, data analysts use the card visual for listing the key performance indicators or the KPIs. So I will add a card visual here. Yeah. So key performance indicators are basically performance metrics that you might want to add at the top of your dashboard to, you know, give a quick insight. So this is our total costs. I will copy and duplicate this a couple times. So there are other performance metrics that I can add to my dashboard here. I can also, other than costs, I can add total sales, and I can also add total profits. So these are the performance metrics that stakeholders might want to know just right off the bat, no presentation needed. And this is how the company has been performing. So 1 million total sales, 627K profits, 641K costs. So this is how you can use the card visual in Power BI. And this is fortunately the end of the video here. So we talked about a total of 7 very, very important visuals that are used on the job. There are a lot of other visuals in Power BI as well. I can quickly show you. So a map visual can be very exciting for some people, but it's not commonly used, which is why I didn't include it. So I will put sales in the bubble here. And the bubble size indicates the quantity of sales. So we can see France is an important country for the store, followed by UK, but it's very difficult to read this particular visual here. And then there are other visuals as well. There's a funnel chart. Again, it's showing countries. This is a lot for a funnel chart. So let's say I'll put segment in a funnel chart. And sales. So yeah, sum of sales by segment. So this is again very similar to a column chart, I would say, but again, not as commonly used. And there are a lot of other visuals that you can play around with, but these 7 were the most important, most commonly used visuals that you must know before starting your Power BI journey. And yes, if you have any doubts, please drop a comment below. I will be more than happy to answer it. And please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the PiAnalytics channel for more such content. We are coming up with advanced, beginner level, intermediate level Power BI content pretty much every day. So please check out our channel and stay tuned for more such content. Thank you so much. I am signing off.